Every culture on Earth tells the same kind of a story about something that hunts in the dark, something that was never supposed to exist. And yet, too many people have seen it, too many people barely survived it to call it a lie. Welcome to Echoes Obscura. This is where I dig up the creatures history tried to bury, the monsters your grandparents whispered about, the things that don't make the news. And I'm not here to scare you. Well, maybe a little. In this video, I have 7 creatures, 7 reasons to stay with the lights on. Stay close, and whatever you do, don't go outside alone. Echoes Obscura. The dark has a story, and I tell it. The chupacabra. Farmers in Puerto Rico kept finding their goats dead. Not eaten, just drained. Every drop of blood gone. It started in 1995, a small town called Canovanas. Livestock turning up with 2 tiny puncture wounds on their necks. And nothing else. No mess, no tracks, no explanation. People called it the chupacabra. That's the Spanish word for the goat sucker. Eyewitnesses said it stood up on 2 legs, about 4 feet tall, spines down its back, glowing red eyes, and it moved fast. The sighting spread fast. Puerto Rico, Mexico, Texas, Chile, always the same story. Same wounds, same missing blood. Scientists say it's probably a coyote with a mange, a disease that makes them look alien. But mangy coyotes don't drain blood, they eat. So what is the chupacabra? Nobody really knows, but ranchers across Latin America still lock up their animals at night. You know, just in case. You wake up at 3 a.m. You cannot move. Something is sitting on your chest. You can't breathe, you can't scream, and you can see it right there, staring at you. In Germany, that's not sleep paralysis. That's the Alp. And the Alp is a nightmare demon that's been terrorizing Central Europe for over 1,000 years. It slips through keyholes, through cracks in windows, and it sits on your chest while you sleep, feeding on your breath, your energy, your fear. And what makes it creepier? Sometimes it's the spirit of a living person, someone who doesn't even know they're doing it. It wears a small magical hat called the Tankape. Steal the hat and you control the Alp. This is why people used to sleep with iron scissors under their pillow. They'd plug the keyholes with cloth, paint crosses on their doors. Billions of people across history have experienced sleep paralysis. Every culture has a name for what they saw. The Alp is Germany's answer, and it's not friendly. The Dirk Ireland's ancient vampire. Dracula gets all the fame, but over 1,000 years before Bram Stoker put pen to paper, Ireland already had a vampire. And honestly, her story is darker. The Dirk in Irish Gaelic, it means the red bloodsucker. She didn't start as a monster. She started as a woman, a beautiful, kind, and completely trapped. Her father sold her off to a cruel man who treated her like property. She suffered for years, and eventually she died. Some say of a broken heart, but she didn't stay dead. She rose from her grave, and the first people she visited, her father and her husband, she drained them both dry. Then she kept going. The Irish believed the Dirk rose every year to feed on the living, luring men in with her beauty before killing them, same as she was once lured into a life that destroyed her. The only way to stop her? Pile heavy stones on top of her grave. Keep her pinned underground. There is actually a grave in County Wexford, Ireland, called Strongbow's Tree. Locals still associate with her legend to this day. She's been buried, but she always finds a way back. Kimu. What happens to a soul that dies angry? In ancient Babylon, one of the oldest civilizations ever, they had an answer, and it was terrifying. The Ekimu is over 4,000 years old, one of the oldest ghost legends ever recorded. It's the spirit of someone who died badly, unalived, drowned, or buried without the proper rituals. With no one to mourn them, the soul couldn't move on, so it stayed, and it became something else. The Ekimu doesn't haunt houses. It attaches to people, follows them, drains their energy slowly, like a leak. Victims would waste away, get sick, lose the will to live. Ancient Babylon had special priests called Ashipu, whose only job was to banish them. Rituals, offerings, incantations, but the scariest part, the Ekimo didn't mean to hurt anyone. It was just lost, desperate, reaching out to the living because it had nowhere else to go. And somehow, that makes it worse. Asanbosam. Deep in the forest of West Africa, something lives in the trees. It's not a bird, it's not monkey. It has iron hooks for feet, and it's waiting for you to walk underneath it. The Asanbosam comes from the Ashanti people of Ghana. And yes, this is a vampire. It has a human-like body, blood-red eyes, and teeth made of iron. Sharp, jagged iron. And those feet, curved hooks it uses to hang from branches above forest paths, waiting for travelers below. It drops, grabs, bites, and drains. The Ashanti warned travelers to avoid certain parts of the forest, especially at night. Hunters who went too deep and never came back, the Asanbosam. Here's what's wild. This legend is centuries old, long before European vampire myths ever reached West Africa. Two completely separate cultures, two completely separate worlds, is the same monster, the Ghoul. It looks like a person. It might even talk like a person, but it lives in graveyards and it eats the dead. And sometimes it gets tired of waiting. The Ghoul comes from ancient Arabian mythology, over 1,000 years old. The word ghoul in Arabic means to seize, and that is exactly what it does. Ghouls live in the deserts and graveyards. They dig up fresh bodies and feed. But what makes them truly dangerous? They can shapeshift. A ghoul can look like the last person it consumed. Your friend, your family, someone you trust completely. In the original Arabian Nights, a ghoul appears as a beautiful woman, luring travelers into the desert before revealing what it really is. And it's too late. What's unsettling is how far this legend spread. Persia, Turkey, North Africa, South Asia, completely separate cultures, all describing the same grave-robbing, shape-shifting predator. So the next time someone seems a little off to you, maybe check if you've passed any graveyards lately. Strix. Rome feared war, plague, betrayal, but at night, when the torches went out, what terrified them the most was the sound of wings. The Strix, ancient Rome's original nightmare. Picture it. Midnight in Rome. Your baby is asleep. Then you hear it. A shriek. Not quite a bird and not quite human. Somewhere in between. You run in. Your child is pale, cold, with tiny marks on their skin. The Strix was described as a massive dark bird with a hooked beak, clawed feet, and glowing eyes. It hunted one thing: newborns, sleeping through open windows, feeding slowly, night after night. Roman mothers hung protective plants on cradles, called priests for rituals, left offerings at the window, hoping to buy it off. Some believe the Strix was once a woman, a witch, cursed to fly and feed forever. Ovid wrote about it. Horace wrote about it. Rome's most educated men took it seriously. The legend survived Rome's fall and became the foundation for vampire and witch myths across all Europe. And 2000 years later, it's still alive. I think I actually did 6 creatures, 6 legends. From the graveyards of Arabia to forests of West Africa to the nightmares of ancient Babylon. Every single one of these stories came from real people. People who saw something, felt something, and needed a name for it. Maybe they were right. Hit subscribe, follow Echoes Obscura. The dark has a story, and I tell it. See you in the next one.